Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin with our top story where President John Dramani Mahama has sworn in his appointed governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, and his first deputy, Dr. Zakari Mumuni. Well, the event took place at the office of the President, the Jubilee House, on Tuesday, February 25, 2025.
Governor and Deputy Governor, in discharging your mandate, you must go beyond mere technical considerations and act in full recognition that every statistic, every movement on a chart, and every shift in an index is more than just data. It is the pulse of an economy, it is a measure of resilience or distress, and it has a direct impact on our people. A dip in confidence indices may signal business on a brink, evolving market conditions, or changing household prospects. Behind these numbers are real human beings, real human stories, people's dreams, either nurtured or shattered, demanding not just your highly extolled analytical expertise, but empathy and foresight that acknowledge the profound human consequences of every decision you take. Our recent banking history has shown us the cost of neglecting this truth. During the supposed banking sector cleanup exercise, thousands of jobs were lost and lives were disrupted because decisions were made with a narrow focus rather than the consideration of the human impact of those decisions. The Bank of Ghana had the opportunity to salvage some of these institutions to protect people's livelihoods while ensuring stability, but instead, an approach that ignored human consequences was what was made. The test of your patriotism in this solemn duty of economic governance lies in learning from these missteps, recognizing that policies must not only enforce regulations, but also safeguard the future of persons that depend on them.
President John Dramani Mahama has reaffirmed his commitments to fiscal discipline, assuring the newly sworn-in governor and deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana that his administration will not resort to reckless money printing to finance government expenditure.
Of fiscal recklessness and the lasting harm it can inflict on an economy. When government resorts to unsustainable consumption, expenditure, financed by excessive and unregulated printing of money, the consequences can be severe, from spiraling inflation, erosion of incomes, to driving millions into poverty. Such actions not only weaken public confidence in financial institutions, but also threaten long-term stability. To safeguard our economy from these risks, we must uphold responsible fiscal management, strict adherence to legal and regulatory framework, and protect the independence of the Bank of Ghana. As President, I'm committed to ensuring that the central bank operates free from political interference, guided solely by its mandate. This is the path to building a resilient economy, one where policies are driven by discipline, foresight, and the best interests of the Ghanaian people. One thing for sure, I'm not going to come and ask you to print more money. I encourage you to work closely with key institutions, including the Ministry of Finance, Parliament, and the financial industry, while maintaining the independence your mandate requires. On behalf of the people of Ghana, I wish to extend my heartfelt congratulations to both of you. I'm confident in your expertise.
Meanwhile, the newly sworn-in governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, has announced 6 priority areas to help reform Ghana's financial sector and stabilize the cedi against the dollar.
Of His Excellency the President, Ghana is embarking on an economic reset. This reset is about stabilizing the macroeconomy and addressing key issues such as high inflation, persistent fiscal deficits, and excessive debt levels. Achieving this stability will require monetary and exchange rate policy reforms, fiscal austerity measures, and debt restructuring to reduce fiscal risks and create a stable economic environment. Excellencies, we are meeting today at a pivotal moment in our nation's economic history. The challenges before us require decisive leadership and prudent macroeconomic policies to reset the economy. Indeed, the Bank of Ghana is a key institution in this agenda to reset the economy and must remain steadfast in its mission to maintain price stability, ensure a sound financial system, and support economic growth. Your Excellency, as a governor, our focus will be on 6 priority areas, and permit me to touch on each of these. First is the need to recalibrate our monetary policy strategy. Our second priority is on the need to preserve exchange rate stability and limit excessive volatility in the rates. The days of currency speculation and exchange rate instability must come to an end, and we are poised to ensure just that. In this regard, Your Excellency, the Bank of Ghana under our leadership will engineer a well-functioning and stable foreign exchange market to support economic activity. My fourth priority, Excellency, is on the need to boost financial inclusion and innovation to promote inclusive economic growth, reduce poverty, empower individuals, and ensure the stability and competitiveness of the financial system. We do so with a solemn promise to the people of Ghana, and that is to serve with diligence, to serve with impartiality, and to serve with unwavering commitment to the mandate of the Bank of Ghana. In this regard, we will carry out our duties guided by no interest other than the interest of the people of Ghana.
Now let's do stories in health, where the Ghana Health Service has rolled out a vaccination exercise to mitigate the spread of cholera in the central region. Well, the vaccination exercise ought to be carried out in Winneba and Swedro is expected to last for a week and will be subject to review. Well, in Winneba, about 300 volunteers have been trained to administer the vaccine, while 180 volunteers will be working in Swedro or in the central region.
So since last week we've been training people. We started by training about 30 people as TOTs, that's trainers of trainers, and then at the end we have 300 people trained from the community. One important thing we did look at has to do with security. We don't want to bring people who are actually not from the community, so all these people are health staff within the community who have been trained so that they can actually be easily identified, and they will move in a team of 3, and then they'll move within the community and make sure that everyone gets vaccinated.
Okay, so these 300 people, are they going to operate only in Winneba or within Winneba and then Swedro?
Yeah, so in Winneba, this is just for FO2. In Swedro, we have 180 people trained as well, and they will also take care of that particular community. Yeah. And you start with the cases, right? If you have 1, 2 cases, you don't have to be very worried. But when they start to climb up, especially when they are confirmed, not suspected cases, what you do is you get in touch with WHO and then you place in an order. They also look at it and say, okay, the cases that you have in are quite enough for you to start with the vaccination.
And President John Dramani Mahama has disclosed that the Akufo-Addo-led administration completed only 1 out of the Agenda 111 project, which started earlier. According to the president, the hospital the Akufo-Addo government managed to complete out of about 100 hospitals promised, which he promised was empty without even a single piece of furniture in it.
When I was president, I made a statement that we're going to move to a situation where if the missions have a hospital in an area. We're not going to come and compete with the mission by building another hospital. We would rather use the resources to improve the mission hospital so that it provides service. Unfortunately, that was not followed in Agenda 111. So there are many places where you have a mission hospital. We could have used that money to upgrade the facilities in the mission hospital. Government has gone to start a hospital, has not been able to finish it, and they are sitting there, some at foundation level, some at lintel level, and so many of them, almost 90 hospitals. We need 1.7 billion to be able to complete the hospitals. The one that they said they commissioned, there's nothing in it, just one hospital. They finished the structure, but there's not even a bed in the hospital. And so we discussed it a bit in cabinet, but the Minister of Health is going to come with a paper to see what we do. You know, I believe that if some of the missions are interested, we could get them to finish the hospital and manage the hospital and provide the service, you know, so that government too can find it to be a mix. We can also raise money and finish some, but the mission hospitals too can take some and complete them and run.
Health, Ghana is facing a growing crisis linked to the illegal inflow and abuse of opioids, particularly dangerous combination of unapproved drugs. Well, a recent BBC investigations revealed that one pharmaceutical company has been illegally exporting them. The Minister of Health, Honorable Kwabena Mintah-Kando, has outlined a series of measures aimed at strengthening regulatory oversight and enforcement to curb the inflow of illicit opioids.
A joint task force involving the FDA, the Narcotic Control Commission, Customs, and the Ghana Revenue Authority has intensified checks at major entry points to prevent further unauthorized imports, leading to destruction of a large consignment of tafradol and similar drugs. Increased monitoring of over-the-counter drug sales. Inspections have been intensified, unauthorized opioids seized, and legal action taken against offenders. Public awareness and consumer protection measures. A national education campaign has been launched to warn the public about the dangers of illicit opioid use and encourage responsible medication practices. Next steps: strengthen regulatory oversight and enforcement. Mr. Speaker, while these immediate actions have helped to contain the situation, more needs to be done to permanently shut down the supply of illicit opioids into Ghana. We have noted the following challenges that impede the effective response, which requires urgent attention. Unmanned borders allow for the illegal movement of opioids into Ghana. Limited inspection capacity for transit goods destined to other countries enables unregistered drugs to leak into the Ghanaian market. Intelligence sharing mechanism between the FDA, Customs, and NACOC needed to improve enforcement outcomes are suboptimal. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Health will therefore collaborate with the relevant bodies on the following initiatives: strengthening market surveillance and compliance monitoring, strengthening import controls and licensing, enhancing law enforcement and interagency collaboration, strengthening international cooperation, need for interagency response.
In education, a peace ceremony between students of Boko Senior High School and Boko Technical Institute turned into violence, with at least 5 students sustaining severe injuries and others minor wounds. According to sources, the ceremony held at Boko Technical Institute was organized by school authorities in collaboration with the Kwawaga traditional rulers to address and resolve recurring clashes between these two institutions.
Okay, DS man, you
not only the wall, but
disturbing each other. Any form of disturbing the teachers or one another.
You know this one? It's a problem that it cannot stop unless you stop it. When you do it, it will affect you. So this is how we have to concern you people. What do you look at us doing? This technical, this technical. Brothers!
We should go to the place headmaster. Headmaster is going to.
No, you are coming out to be adult. We are going to teach people.
And if you don't learn, how will you?
You learn a bad habit and go outside and how do you calculate this if you have your people?
It won't be beneficial
So what
to
I'm saying
anybody.
is it's the end of it. The world is the end of it. Destruction is the end of it.
Yeah.
This one, this is the anybody who attempts consequences. You know me of consequences? Dire. Abomination has no remedy. You know about abomination. Thank you.
Now let's do updates on Galamsey, where Emmanuel Ama Kofibwa, Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, has revealed that the destruction of forest reserves by illegal miners is equivalent to 7,500 football acres. Well, he claims that 30 acres or more than 44 forest reserves has been destroyed so far.
Reliably informed that roughly 30 hectares is gone. If you add it to the devastation in the other 44 forest reserves, we are talking about 7,500 football fields that has been destroyed. So when you see this devastation at the heart of the Ofin River, which takes its source from here, what few of our own people are doing to us is that they have come to basically kill us.
I must say today, having reclaimed this shelter belt on the Ofin, is to all of the thugs that are in all the other 43 forest reserves. We are coming to you. We are coming after you. You have a choice. You leave now, or we arrest you and your co-conspirators. And let me say that the chain of people who are involved, the investigation has commenced, and thanks to the effort of the investigators, we are tracking them all the way to their financiers and to those who sell or rent those excavators. They are all going to face the full rigors of the law.
And the Ghana Statistical Service has revealed that it has released its first edition of the National Reports for Productivity, Employment and Growth. According to the report, labor productivity grew faster than technology-based changes in output. The report shows that statistics on labor and total productivity trends from 1991 to 2022.
Our culture, our orientation, and if you get to know how it is computed, is what we economists will refer to as the residual, which is the basket of everything that you are not able to take into consideration, that is our capital and labor. So it's a basket of everything that would make that combination of capital and labor very effective. I'm going to highlight a few things for our reflection going forward. We always put out a report with a launch of it, as we've just witnessed, but that is not the only statistical product that we put out there. Anytime we launch a report, there are other products that we put out there, one of which is the micro data that accompanied this report. So once we've launched it, we're going to go through the process of cleaning up the data and making sure that the micro data is available for reuse. We do emphasize that because some of the issues that have come up clearly can further be analyzed based on the micro data. So we can further do disaggregations based on public, private sector, do disaggregations based on formal, informal economies, and so on. So there's a range of things that we can do with the micro data, which we're going to have on our statistical online bank.
And the High Court in Accra has officially discharged former ministers of Water, Resources, Works and Housing, Alhaji Collins Dauda and Kweku Ajimamensa, over the $200 million affordable housing case. The two former ministers, alongside Alhaji Zeblim Yakubu and Novitete Angelo, were facing trial for allegedly causing a sum of $200 million financial loss to the state.
To God, we are thankful also to the prosecution for terminating the case at this point. Of course, this comes as a relief, a huge relief to our clients, whom we've always taken the view that there's really no case against them. But as you know, it was a decision by the state in the first place. So if the state in its wisdom again finds that it is not worth continuing and have discontinued, we are thankful to them all the same. And we are happy that our clients have had their freedom today. I'm grateful to Allah.
And the Eastern region hosted a memorable Black History Month event that shone a spotlight on the remarkable achievements of Black individuals, both historically and in contemporary times. Well, this commemoration was a vibrant celebration of cultural heritage and progress.
African descent worldwide. The celebration in Ghana, deeply connected to the African diaspora, highlights the country's historical significance as a homeland for many in the diaspora seeking to reconnect with their roots. Neville Buchanan, secretary of the Marcus Garvey Foundation, speaking with Caci News, emphasized the importance of such celebrations in preserving history, fostering unity, and inspiring future generations.
The Black History Month had its origins in America. In America they have it in February, but they also have it in the UK where they have it in October. So as he's been an African American, he celebrates it in February, which is fine. Yes. So the aim of the objective of the month is to highlight Black achievement in history and also currently. For example, at the moment, everyone is thinking about Maxwell Chilumba, is it from Zimbabwe, who has invented this car that's supposed to be able to operate without fuel and operate off microwaves and so on and so forth. So it proves that Black people are always inventing, reinventing, coming up with new ideas, and this is what we're here celebrating today. The innovation and inventors. This is the title of this program for this year.
The inclusion of cultural displays, inventions, and historical exhibitions underscores the rich heritage and identity of Africans, especially Ghanaians. Events like this not only honor the past, but also strengthen the bond between Africa and its global diaspora. Yazid Mohammed is the lead for the event.
Since I've been living in Ghana, I've been organizing programs like this that target the youth. I moved to Ghana with my mother, Brenda Krima Mohammed. She's now deceased, buried in Mafi Kumasi. But she had a vision of doing programs that targeted the youth, and I began to target specific days and dates. So I first started using African Unity Day before I moved to Kwanzaa and essentially Black History Month. Black History Month is a big part of, let's say, giving me self-esteem as a young person growing up, young Black person growing up in the United States. And living in Ghana, I saw that I think it could be impactful for a lot of young youth in Ghana. So once I started my family, I began organizing these programs even more, and I would say with more passion, so that my children would get it, and not just my children, but the children in the community as well. Describe Africa as a whole in this point with two words. I would say a powerful transition. That transition being in taking control over human resources, natural resources, and erasing away colonial borders and reunifying Africa.
An International Finance Corporation has unveiled plans for a substantial $600 investment in Ghana's private sector, focusing on expanding the country's garment and agro-processing industries.
Create jobs, build a strong economy, and improve the living conditions of our people. We do realize that we can't do this alone. We need strong partners. We need partners at home and partners abroad. And so anytime we see business delegations like you express confidence in Ghana and even come to see, we are excited. There are many countries that you know of, but you haven't gone there to see what opportunities are there. To take a decision to come and see the opportunities that are here is a stamp of confidence.